Orozco was born on November 23, 1883, in Zapotlán El Grande, Mexico, in the southwest region of Jalisco. His father was Ireno, a businessman, and his mother, Maria Rose, was a stay-at-home mom and singer. A middle-class family stricken by poverty. When Orozco was young, they moved to Mexico City from the countryside. At the age of 15, he left Mexico City to go to the countryside for school. His parents sent him there in order to study agricultural engineering, but he wasn't interested. While at school, he developed rheumatic fever, an inflammatory disease that left him with heart problems. Shortly after returning home, his father died of typhus, a bacterial disease. After that, he began taking art classes at San Carlos Academy. To support his mother, he also worked small jobs, first as a draftsman for an architectural firm, and then later as a postmodern painter, hand-coloring portraits of the dead. At the age of 27, the Mexican Revolution began. While mixing chemicals to make fireworks to celebrate Mexico's Independence Day in 1904, he created an accidental explosion that injured his left arm and wrist. Due to the national festivities, a doctor did not see him for several days. By the time he was seen, gangrene had taken over, and it was necessary to amputate his entire left hand. In 1922, Orozco began creating murals and became known as one of the 3 Mexican muralists. In 1923, he married Margarita Valladares, and they had 3 children together. In 1927, he moved from Mexico City to the United States. A stock market crash in New York City in 1929 left him broke. However, he stayed in the United States for most of the Great Depression. In 1934, he finally returned to Mexico and was invited to paint the government palace in Guadalajara. In 1940, the Museum of Modern Art in New York City commissioned him to create the centerpiece for its exhibit, 20 Centuries of Modern Art. So he painted Dive Bomber and Tank, both influenced by the impending Second World War. 3 years after meeting Gloria Campobella, a prima ballerina for the Mexican City Ballet, Orozco left his wife to live with Gloria in New York City. But the affair ended quickly, and in 1946 he returned to Mexico City to live alone. At the age of 65, he died in his sleep of heart failure on September 7, 1949, in Mexico City.
Orozco grew up in the time of the Mexican Revolution, and the horror influenced him to start his work. From this, he joined Casa de Obra Mundial, an anarcho-syndicalist group which supported strikes. He drew cartoons for the newspaper Vandaag, which he made fun of political figures and powers at that time. He wanted to show that the revolution looked attractive and enticing, but was actually leading to violence and death. He was alive during the Mexican Revolution, Great Depression, and World War II. The work of Posada influenced him to start his work. When he attended the Academy of San Carlos, he studied the work of Michelangelo and works produced during the Renaissance. He also looked at Picasso, Matisse, and Renoir. He felt their work was original and joyous. Moving to America and being reminded of the Mexican Revolution influenced him to produce Dying Society. Him, along with Diego Rivera and David Alfredo Cinquarez, together known as the Big Three, signed an agreement to destroy bourgeois middle-class individualism. They tried to show their regular workers in regular environments struggling to get their points across.
Orozco had many important works throughout his life. One of them was the Sistine Chapel of the Americas. This mural is on the interior walls of the Hospicio Cabañas in Guadalajara in 1839. The immense nave, encompassing a series of arched panels and semicircular ceiling vaults, provided a dramatic space for Orozco to explore the interplay of indigenous and European forces within modern-day Mexico. At the center of the nave, 60 meters above the floor, his majestic Man of Fire ascends into the cupola of what has become known as the Sistine Chapel of the Americas. His inspiration was the brutality of the Mexican Revolution. It created the bold works of public art that challenged social norms and conventions about race and nationality. Another one of Orozco's famous works was the Carnival of Ideologies, also known as the Contemporary Circus. This mural was painted in 1937 in Palacio de Gobierno, Guadalajara, Mexico. The inspiration came from Orozco's point of view. No matter how much the world changed, the same evils, war, injustice, poverty, oppression, and ignorance prevailed. Orozco had little faith that human beings joining together in groups might bring about social change. To him, all ideologies were suspect. All of them led to totalitarianism. This skepticism can be seen in the Carnival of Ideologies. The next famous work by Orozco was Gods of the Modern World, also known as Stillborn Education. This mural was painted between 1932 and 1934 at Baker Library, Dartmouth College, Hanover, New Hampshire. In this mural, Orozco attacks the American educational system. Orozco was allowed to portray American educators as grinning skeletons in academic caps and gowns in the act of tenderly presenting a newly delivered dead embryo to its mother, a female skeleton prostrate over a stack of guns that turn into books. In this work, he shows his beliefs that institutional education is sterile. He is protesting against the intellectual restraints that keep the educators in power and the people not questioning that power. Fight for Liberty, also known as Father Hidalgo, was a mural painted on an interior wall of the governor's palace in Guadalajara between 1937 and 1949 by Orozco. Father Hidalgo is leading a revolt against the Spanish rulers of Mexico. His clenched fists represent the rebellion against Spanish colonial rule. The color red dominates to show that this was a time of death and violence. The large masses of people show how many people were demanded and interested in the quest for independence. The priest's collar and cross represent how involved the church was in the fight, and the machete, once a symbol of Mexican agriculture, is on fire and used in revolt. Muchos consideran El Hombre de Fuego uno de sus grandes logros. La obra presenta una metáfora de la lucha social y el pensamiento de que luchar por la perfección es esencial. La obra de arte es evidente. Esto conduce al sufrimiento. El hombre envuelto en fuego en el medio está sufriendo claramente mientras que las figuras grises, que parecen ser hombres, solo están observando sin ninguna intención de ayudar. Esta es la lucha social. Terminar el fuego y la muerte al tratar de ser perfecto y complacer a la gente que es de color gris, que en realidad no les importa. Nos gusta personalmente el profundo significado de esta pintura y estamos de acuerdo con el mensaje que ella está representando. En Dioses del mundo moderno, Orozco quería representar el impacto de los pueblos indígenas y europeos en América del Norte y la reacción a los horrores de la Guerra Civil Mexicana y la Primera Guerra Mundial con murales que ilustran los impactos adversos sobre el espíritu humano del nacionalismo y el rápido ritmo de la industrialización. El carácter profético de estos murales predijo el surgimiento de las ideologías militaristas que condujeron a la Segunda Guerra Mundial. Orozco, junto con Diego Rivera y David Alfaro Sigerios, fue responsable de introducir y popularizar el arte mural mexicano en Estados Unidos. Él fue una figura clave en llevar la cultura y el arte mexicano a la vanguardia de la conciencia artística de América del Norte, lo que lleva al movimiento muralista del New Deal, en el que el proyecto federal de artes encargó murales de artistas estadounidenses basados en el modelo del movimiento muralista mexicano. Mientras que el estilo de Orozco estuvo en constante evolución, al igual que los otros muralistas, su estilo es generalmente fácil de reconocer. Sus temas siempre fueron impulsados social o políticamente, ya sea un mural de las masas o una mujer simbólicamente montando un tigre. My personal opinion is that I agree. All of Orozco's work had a deeper meaning, usually one associated with politics or social issues. Although the issue was hidden in the painting, the message conveyed is quite bold.
De los muralistas, Orozco percibe ver a la difícil situación del campesino común y su constante esfuerzo de terminar como peones de los que estuvieron en el poder político como punto de enfoque en su arte, con una inmensa implicación de la tecnología, como una influencia humanizante y junto con una forma más socialista de gobierno. Orozco percibe que México se puede convertirse en una nación donde todos pueden ocupar su lugar en un país nuevo, libre y igualitario. Él sin duda no es sentimentalista y tampoco él parece ser demasiado Orozco era un realista y un profeta. Sus murales en Guadalajara y Ciudad de México muestran cadáveres que se acumulan a partir de la Revolución Mexicana y los revolucionarios que se comportan con crueldad mientras pretenden estar luchando por el bien de todos. En las secciones de varios murales también arrojo sobre las ciencias de la historia casi todos los símbolos de ideología. La cruz de la Iglesia Católica, la corona de reyes, la esvástica y la hoz y el martillo del comunismo. Personal opinion. Orozco's tone of his murals were very blunt. He didn't mask any of the drama. He made sure to emphasize it. In his murals, he always seemed to be challenging authority.
Orozco es uno de nuestros artistas más importantes, no solo en México, sino de todo el siglo XX, y no se le ha dado el reconocimiento que se merece, dijo Gregoria Luque. La pintura que cuenta la historia y revela el líder detrás de una revuelta importante en la historia de México. El color rojo se muestra aquí de nuevo, que simboliza la muerte. Creemos que Orozco es claro en los tiempos de apuro que los mexicanos estaban tratando de superar. Hay emoción que brota de la pintura que muestra la rebelión. Eisenstein vio el arte de Orozco, un grito en una superficie a través de la forma y a través del estilo, Diego Rivera dijo. José Clemente Orozco, junto con el grabador popular José Guadalupe Posada, es el más grande artista cuya obra expresa genuinamente el carácter y el espíritu de la gente de la Ciudad de México. Los significados de las pinturas de Orozco son claros. La ideología está constantemente en las mentes de las personas y el apretón de mano forzado demuestra que los ciudadanos tienen que estar de acuerdo. Los colores gris y rojo envían un mensaje de que el resultado de estas ideologías tienen frío y lleva a la muerte. Es un mensaje poderoso. My personal opinion is that Orozco's paintings and murals always have a point to them. Every mural has a message and a message that needs to be heard.